Hi everyone, Julie's back. I'm back. I feel like I've been gone for a long time, and it's because I didn't do a video recording the last episode, and I think also the episode before that. I can't remember, but it has been so crazy in our practice, which we love. We love seeing new patients. We love looking at complex cases. We love reviewing GI maps, but it's been so back to back with client calls, coffee chats, networking, meeting with other practitioners. And not only this, I just got back from a 3-day conference in Nashville, Tennessee. That was the weekend of September 20th, and I went to the Microbiome Labs Symposium. They have an annual conference that they host every year. Last year, they did it in Monterey, California, and then this year, they did it in Nashville. It was an amazing time. I learned so much about the microbiome, and it's so interesting, you guys, because it seems simple when you teach about the microbiome. It's like, eat good for your gut health and the microbes and eat more fermented foods. But it's so much more complicated than that. They talked about so many different topics at the conference, from how your microbiome is linked to the toxins in our environment, menopause and your microbiome, what happens during menopause, and how your microbiome changes, even your oral microbiome, why that's so important. There's literally so much information. I took so many notes in my notebook. I definitely want to create a content piece to share a lot of the learnings because it's just so interesting how everything's connected and the science behind the microbiome. And even just attending the conference and seeing the research studies that a lot of the doctors were sharing, I was like, this makes so much sense, and how I can integrate this into my practice, because a lot of the things they were sharing, the science linked to a lot of the symptoms that my patients are experiencing as well. I could create a whole episode about everything I learned, but we're going to save that for another episode and talk about today's topic. But I thought I would give you a little bit of a life update as to what's been happening. Very, very busy with clients, which is amazing. We've seen a lot of clients this week who not only have eczema and TSW who are coming to see me, but we're seeing now clients that are dealing with MCAS, salicylate intolerance, histamine intolerance. I have a couple clients now that are wanting to lose weight, so weight loss clients. And it's really exciting because my practice has really expanded a lot in the past year. And we're not just serving eczema clients anymore. We're really serving people that have not only complex cases, because eczema is complex. So is TSW, so is allergies, so is salicylate tolerance, but even clients who want to work on general nutrition. They just need help with making changes to their meals. They're super busy entrepreneurs. They're super busy people that have families and a lot of kids. And so they would love to bring on a dietitian to help them with their lifestyle. So I'm really honored to be able to work with all kinds of people. And yeah, now today's actually Sunday, September 28th. I have my Zevia drink. I'm really into these nowadays. You guys gotta get on these if you haven't already tried them. They are no sugar, 0 calories if you care. Really good ingredients. A lot of the other sodas, sometimes they add sugar or they use aspartame, which is what we don't want. But this one's sweetened with stevia. Now, I know a lot of people either hate or love stevia. For me, I'm fine with the flavor. That's a bit about what's been happening in my world. And even more exciting, I have so many exciting news. I'm so excited. In the next couple weeks, I have so many more exciting things. This coming week, actually, I got invited by a local physician to their anniversary event, and they actually invited me to speak and give a little talk to some of the other, I think, practitioners that are going. But I thought I'm so proud of myself, you guys. I don't like to celebrate my wins too much because I'm always on the grind, but I literally cold reached out to this physician because I absolutely love what she's doing. Her clinic is absolutely stunning. It's really close to where I live, and I just love it. I just love the energy and I love the place. So I sent them a cold outreach email saying, hey, I'm a dietitian. I'm really interested in learning more about your business. They treat people with skin issues as well, but I've later found out that she's actually a family physician. Anyways, long story short, I don't want to go too into it because this episode's about you. She invited me to have a meeting with her in person. She was very open to it. And then we had a great first meeting. She was basically very open to doing a partnership of some sort. And I honestly wasn't even expecting anything. I just want to connect with people and just get to know physicians or people just are in the health field. And she was like, why don't you come to our anniversary this in October? It's our 6-year anniversary at our medical aesthetic clinic. And she also has her family practice too. Come in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I was like, I was almost like kind of lost for words, but I didn't want to seem like I was like super excited. But at the same time, I'm like, what are the chances of me cold outreaching to a clinic who's never even seen me before? Her, I guess, really was impressed, I guess, with our meeting and then inviting me to speak. Anyways, I'm like gonna prepare for this. It's not anything formal or anything like that. I'm just really grateful. That's coming up this weekend. I'll be at the clinic. And then I'm going to a 4-day allergy and immunology conference. This one's held in Vancouver, actually, where I am. And I am beyond excited for this one. This is like never been to it before. It's hosted by the Canadian Society of Clinical Allergy and Immunology. I think I'm saying it right. I might have gotten the order wrong, but this conference is all about allergies, immune system, the gut microbiome, because we know that's linked, food allergies, and some rare immune diseases. It's very clinical, very sciencey, but it's going to be so applicable for you guys because I know a lot of you listening struggle with allergies, whether it's with your environmental allergies, eczema, right? We know that eczema is related to a lot of allergic conditions because it's an atopic disease. A lot of you deal with histamine issues. I believe they have a lecture on MCAS, which is mast cell activation syndrome, something that's been up and rising nowadays. I'm really excited to learn at this 4-day conference. And of course, I'm going to bring all of my learnings into my practice to help my clients who struggle with allergies and their immune system, but also to you guys on this podcast where I can share the learnings that I've been receiving from a lot of these conferences that I'm attending. Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't like talking about myself because I'm just so much more about, giving out content and value. Let's get into today's episode, which is all about how to stop obsessing over your symptoms. This episode, I feel like a lot of my episodes is a long time coming. I feel like it's something that all of my clients actually struggle with is the over obsessing of their symptoms, whatever that looks like for them, to the point where it causes so much anxiety and so much stress in their day to day that they cannot even focus on anything else. The only thing that they're focusing on are the symptoms. It's hard because how can you not focus on the symptoms when the symptoms are there, right? You're feeling it, whether it's in your body or on your skin, it's right there in front of you. So I get it. It's not something you can just ignore. Sometimes when we ignore it, that can make us fall off track, right? Then we have people that ignore symptoms, they don't take care of themselves, and then the symptoms start to get worse and worse. However, I would say the majority of the people who come to me to work with us in the practice or are listening on the podcast are leaned more towards the people that over obsess about being very healthy and doing everything they can to heal. I have more of those type of people versus people that just fall off the tracks. So first and foremost, I just want to say and validate that it's natural and it's normal for you to feel the way that you feel and feel like that you are constantly thinking and worrying and obsessing over your symptoms, especially if your symptoms has been chronic. And sometimes this obsessive behavior is almost like OCD, right? You're constantly checking the mirror, you're looking at your skin, you're picking at it, you're tracking every food, you're worrying about whether this food is going to cause a symptom or not. You're overanalyzing the weight on the scale, right? You're looking at it and you're wondering why it's not coming off, right? Why is the weight not coming off? You're looking at it every day, you're hyper analyzing. Or you're Googling ChatGPT every little symptom that you're experiencing, and you're literally trying to find real-time answers at every second of the day. That's OCD. That's obsessing over your symptoms. The problem is, I'm sure you guys know, the more attention and focus and energy that you give to your symptoms, the worse that you're going to feel. And that's just the reality of how science works, because when you focus your energy on something, you're putting your effort into it, you're thinking about it, right? So you're causing your nervous system to stay stuck in that cycle of thinking, worrying, obsessing, and that is your sympathetic nervous system being out of control. And this is how obsessing over your symptoms backfire. You want to heal your symptoms deep down. You're telling yourself, I want to heal, I want to heal, I want to heal. But the actions you're taking is actually not really moving that needle forward, because symptom checking, when it becomes OCD, it's a constant stress signal. Like you're constantly sending signals from your mind to the rest of your body, and that keeps your body in this state of inflammation. But then you get stuck, right? Because the problem with this is it creates this feedback loop where you focus because you really want it to heal, but then it causes anxiety. And then when you have anxiety about focusing on your symptoms, it's gonna worsen your symptoms because focusing on it might mean that it'll heal faster, but it's actually doing the opposite. Then you refocus on it over and over again because you think that focusing on it means that it'll heal faster. So it becomes this cycle that is very dangerous to begin. Example of this, how this applies to a lot of you listening, is skin clients. You're constantly looking at the mirror. You're checking to see every second of the day, is your skin getting better? Is it getting less red? Is it less flaky? That is not going to make your skin less flaky, less dry. I'm sorry, it's just actually going to make you have more anxiety about it. Because when you're checking your skin all the time and looking at it, not only is it causing that stress cycle that I mentioned, but it kind of shows to your body that you don't trust that it's doing the right thing. Because the fact that you need to check on it every time is a sign that your body's like, wait, I need to see if it's actually working. And I'm going to do that by looking at the mirror every day, all day, or, multiple times a day to see if there's any sort of improvement. And the problem with that is healing never just shows up on your skin the day after, right? Healing happens on the inside first. If we start to attach the result with how our skin looks, then you're never going to be happy. You're never going to feel like you accomplished something because the skin is like the last organ to heal for a lot of people. And, that being said, there are tons of people also that heal really fast as well, right? So I don't want to also say that skin is going to be the last thing to heal, because I've also seen cases where the skin healed pretty quickly. But what I will also say, it's like the clients, and I don't like to compare, I'm just sharing anecdotal evidence of what I see in my practice, is the clients who focus less on their symptoms, redirecting their attention, are the ones that do better. And I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it's because they're just lucky. They just decided, you know what, Julia, fuck it. I'm not gonna care anymore. I'm just gonna tell myself that I'm not going to think about it today. I'm gonna go do something else. I have an episode about this actually, in honor of my client who just one day decided, she was like, I'm gonna decide that I'm just gonna fuck it. It's called the fuck it mindset on this podcast. I'm just gonna fuck it and just live my life, even if it's just for one day, and not think about my skin, because thinking about my skin, obsessing over it, it's not helped me in the past month. And from making that simple change, her skin literally started healing. Within, I believe it was a week, she messaged me saying that she can't believe it. So I think that says a lot about redirecting your attention again and just making that decision to not obsess over something that sometimes you can't change. And in fact, you can't. You can't change when healing is going to happen. You can't change the timeline. It is what it is. And the sooner that you accept that, not accept the fact that it's going to take long, just accept that the journey doesn't just end when you demand it to end. You have to allow it to do its thing. That's when you're going to start seeing more of that healing. Same with clients who are listening that have a lot of gut issues, right? The more that you focus on the bloating, the more you focus about worrying which foods are going to trigger your symptoms in the gut, the more it's going to happen, right? Because you're thinking about it. That connection between your brain and your gut, they're communicating right now at this very moment. So if you're thinking about your gut symptoms, the more it's going to worsen. My weight clients, if you're looking at the scale every single day and you're obsessing about your weight, it's going to feel like it's never coming off because you're just stuck on that number. Instead, maybe just focus on the day-to-day actions that are making you feel better, that help to support weight loss, and then check your weight in like a few weeks, right? Also remembering the number on the scale doesn't determine fat, right? If there's water retention, if there is inflammation your body's holding on to, that can make the scale go up as well. So we really have to start thinking about all these things, not hyperfixating on one symptom or one number and labeling as bad or not improving. Okay, the $1,000,000 question that I get, Julia, I know I'm not supposed to obsess about my symptoms, but tell me what to do. What am I supposed to do? When I get this question from my client, it's a hard question because I'm not the inside of your mind, right? I can't help you redirect your own thoughts. You have to do that on your own. And it's based on what feels good to you. Because for me, when I'm obsessing about something, I need to go and listen to music and spend time with my friends or go for a walk and play a walking meditation. That is what helps me. It's my thing that I do. But it might not help you, right? Maybe you do the same thing as me, but you do your walking meditation and you're still focusing on your symptoms. So that's not going to work. So you pick a positive distraction that feels good to you. It could look like a walking meditation with the music in, right? It could look like painting. It could look like going to the gun range and doing a hobby, anything to get yourself out of the stuck mindset around your symptoms. Those are your activities that you can start to think about doing if you aren't already doing it. Now, of course, it's not like a one-time thing. You just do one activity and hope that all of your worries go away. No, it has to be consistent, right? Especially if it makes you feel better, why wouldn't you want to be consistent with those distractions? Other tools you can use are, I always say this, mind-body practices. Out of your mind and into a different realm, whether it's, meditation where you're focusing on something else, or breathing is so powerful. When you just take deep breaths in like this, you automatically have to focus on your breath. So that redirects your attention as well. Maybe you want to journal out your feelings, do a brain dump, do morning pages. That's also a really good way of clearing your mind. But again, sometimes that doesn't work with people because when they start to brain dump, what are they brain dumping? They're writing down their symptoms, how they're feeling. So it kind of just perpetuates the situation in some cases because they're going back to thinking about their skin again. Again, depends on what works for you. The point of these distractions is not about doing the meditation, doing the breath work, and then, going back to your normal behaviors of obsessing, right? We want to be able to meditate, do breath work, do those engaging activities, and carry that sense of calm into the rest of your day, into your daily life. Because if you don't do that, right, if you go back to your usual obsession, right, your nervous system never gets a break. A question to really ask yourself is, are you actually regulating your nervous system, or are you just doing it because you want a result? Like you want your skin to heal? Because those are two very different intentions and something I really want you to think about. And going back to what I said in the very beginning is healing requires trust, right? It requires a lot of fucking trust and it's not easy, but don't force it, okay? The moment that you force it, it's not good. It's going to make it really hard. Your body needs to feel safe, and obsession keeps it unsafe. So if you take anything away from this episode, I really want you to just think about, okay, am I over obsessing my symptoms? Is it doing harm than good? And can we start looking at practices, activities, journaling, meditation, anything, doesn't even have to be mindfulness practices, and redirect your attention and do that consistently so that you can start to shift your attention away from your illness, away from your body, even if it feels really uncomfortable to do that because you're so used to probably focusing on your health. But just shifting your attention, give yourself one day where you just shift your attention away and see how nice it feels to not have to think about it, even if it's just for one day. Okay, I hope this episode you've taken a lot of things away. I've shared quite a bit. A lot of it was just me sharing my life update, but maybe that would be your distraction, right? Just like hearing life updates and not thinking about this topic. I don't know. But anyways, I hope you found the actual topic helpful and not looking at your symptoms and finding a different way to heal yourself through redirecting your attention. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy my Sunday evening, and then we will see you in the next episode. I'm going to be sharing some content on the microbiome conference that I attended last week. If you follow me on Instagram, then definitely stay tuned for that. And we have some more exciting episodes coming in the pipeline. So stay tuned for that as well.